Okay, so hello and welcome to the webinar. Today I will be walking through exactly how you can find the weak links in your high blood pressure chain and what you can do about it. So first of all though, do you suspect that this might be your doctor? Do you think that your doctor is actually overworked, overstressed, maybe hasn't got any time, and just maybe isn't as healthy as you want them to be, and maybe doesn't actually know how to be healthy? If you think that, you are not alone. I'm not saying it's true, but a lot of people are thinking this at the moment. Now, what I would like to do, though, is I would like you, by the end of this, to have the knowledge that you need to achieve greater levels of health, no matter where you are now, and actually add 20 years of health to your life. You'll understand more as you watch through. So here's me. I'm originally a doctor of chiropractic. I'm a member of the International Association of Functional Neurology, and I'm the first and so far only UK trained member of the Cardiovascular Health Institute. And I pretty much wake up every morning to inspire everyone I meet to gain better health for the future. And I am also very passionate about the peace process in the world when you get to speak to me. And also, one more little thing, I do actually have my picture in the Guinness Book of Records, the 2014 edition, page 70 something, bottom right hand corner. It's very small, and yeah, but there you go, my picture's there for a world record. However, we're not here about my world record, we're here to help you, just like I helped Julie in Harpenden. She actually halved her blood pressure in just 6 weeks and stopped it altogether after 8. She also lost weight. And she had been really worried because she'd seen her father on medication for blood pressure, heart problems, still die young from a heart attack. And she was on medication and she thought, well, medication alone isn't going to stop this. I need to actually look at what else can be done. So we helped her, and we're still helping her because she actually wanted to do more than just get off the drugs. She wants to be healthy for a very, very long time. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. And now, just quickly, this presentation is meant for informational purposes only, and I will be going really swiftly through it so that I can get information to you quickly, and then you can just watch this on replay and scroll back if you so wish. This is solely my opinion, based on the mentoring from cardiologists, though, and also from scientific findings. And the presentation itself is not meant to diagnose, prevent, treat, or cure any disease, and please speak with your healthcare provider regarding any change in your healthcare plan. There we go, there's the disclaimers done for legal reasons. Now, heart disease. Now, it's currently 2021. Heart disease has been up since 2019, and it's only going up. In fact, this year, we're now December 2021, heart disease, heart rates, and deaths from cardiovascular disease have actually gone massively high this year for a number of possible reasons. But they are just going up despite all the drugs. It's just getting worse. Okay, blood pressure was rising from 28% to 30% in men. 2/3 of men aged 75 and upwards have some form of hypertension, and it's probably more than that now by the end of 2021 and certainly 2022. Yeah, almost 50% of US adults have hypertension. Whereas only just over 20% have arthritis, respiratory disease a bit less, chronic mental conditions a bit less, and overall heart disease, full-on heart disease, maybe 12%, but hypertension is thought to predispose people to so many other problems, and it is rife. So why should you worry about high blood pressure? Well, it can lead to blindness, it can lead to strokes, it can lead to heart attacks, it can lead to heart failure, and it can lead to kidney failure. However, as you're about to learn, it may not actually be the high blood pressure that causes these. It may be the cause of high blood pressure is also going to cause these problems. And this is why treating with drugs just to lower blood pressure, as was the case with Julie's father, they didn't treat the underlying cause, and it was the underlying cause of the high blood pressure that also caused strokes, heart attacks, blindness, kidney failure, and heart failure. We will find out more. Now we're going to have a blast from the past. The doctor of the future will give no medicine. This isn't happening yet, okay, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. Now, Thomas Edison was not a doctor, but he was a very, very clever man. And he predicted that if you do the right things, you don't need medicine. Unfortunately, most of medicine didn't listen because, and again, it's hardly surprising because it's easier to pop a pill than it is to change your habits. Now, if you do go to the doctor with blood pressure, there are 5 major areas that doctors should be looking at. Now, the top one is actually nutrition and diet. Your eating habits are the #1 way that you can change your blood pressure. Actually, more than medicine, more than medication. It's actually recognized that that's the #1 thing to do. Number 2 is physical activity. Improve your physical activity. Stop smoking if you are a smoker. Stress management, and then compliance with prescribed medication. But it's more than likely that your doctor, apart from saying, well, just eat healthily, doesn't really give you any advice about what you should be eating. And in fact, if you look at his diet, it's probably, or her diet, it's probably going to be similar to what your diet is anyway. And they may actually, if they're over the age of 50 or 60, may be on blood pressure medication as well. So maybe not the best people to ask about healthy diet, and they may not even give you any advice on healthy diet apart from just have less salt. Now, if less salt is the cause of your high blood pressure, then great. But there are lots of other dietary nutritional causes as well. Physical activity, again, it's very unlikely that the doctor will actually give you any real advice on how to improve your physical activities, how to improve your strength, because again, medical doctors will have almost no training on diet, nutrition, exercise, lifestyle in generally. Smoking, well, you know you need to stop smoking if you do. Stress management, again, even though it's recognized as a major cause of high blood pressure, it's very unlikely that you'll be referred for any kind of stress coaching or stress counseling, and it's a chance that your doctor doesn't know much about it anyway. So it basically leaves the doctor with only one course of action that they've really been taught about and they really understand, and it's just human nature to stick with what you understand. So there's no blame, but it's compliance with prescribed medication is the only way that most doctors know how to work with blood pressure, because they don't know how to cope with the others. They can't give you any information, and so they feel trapped. But you're here because you don't want that route either. So let's have a little look. So high blood pressure itself is, according to a new emerging model from integrative medical doctors in the States, is caused by 3 major things: inflammation in the body, oxidative stress in the body, which is like rusting basically, and inflammation is like fire in the body, and vascular immune dysfunction. We're going to come back to that in a moment. But all these things, inflammation, oxidative stress, and vascular immune dysfunction, are themselves caused by many other things, such as nutritional deficiencies, toxicities, including air pollution, water pollution, food pollution, and toxicities you inherit from your mother. Yes, and even your grandmother. Stress, epigenetics, which is how your genes actually change with what you do, and then the environment itself. So it's much more than just the 5 things and 5 areas, although those 5 areas do actually cope with a lot. So what do we do that's differently? Well, what I do with my patients is I actually teach them the magnificent 7 health strategies that I learned from one of my own mentors, which are think right, talk right, drink right, eat right, move right, detox right, and sleep right. And that protects your body, your brains, and your bowel, and that in turn protects your health. And when you put these 7 strategies into place, then toxins are basically rebutted from the body, they're pushed out of the body or they don't get in. Trauma you recover from more quickly, stress you recover from. Your body works better if you employ these 7 strategies. Now there is a specific set of 7 magnificent 7 for high blood pressure, and at the moment you might be thinking, well, the doctor tested everything and it all came back normal. My problem must be genetic. That's why I need to be on the drugs, and I need to stay on the drugs forever. And it's jolly difficult to actually be healthy. well, hopefully you're going to see that you may actually be, well, misled with some of the ways and beliefs that you have. And the greatest discovery of any generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering the attitudes of their minds. Albert Schweitzer. And he won a Nobel Peace Prize, I believe. And so, yeah, he knows a thing or two about changing the world. And this is indeed what it comes down to. It's a choice you can start making today. Okay, your health today is the result pretty much of all the decisions you made in the past. And your health tomorrow is the result of the decisions you make today. And right now, you have the chance to make some very different decisions about the future of your health, because you can make different decisions starting from now. So, if you're thinking that things are difficult, okay, this is another of my my heroes, Richard Buckminster Fuller. If you want to teach people a new way of thinking, don't bother trying to teach them. Instead, give them a tool, the use of which will lead to new ways of thinking. And this is the first part of the Magnificent Seven Health Strategy. It's basically think right. Now, in my training course, I teach 4 types of thinking tool. There's tools to help understand yourself. There's tools to help change yourself. There's tools to make you more resilient, i.e. resistant to stress, and tools that move you forwards. Okay, and there are lots of different thinking tools that I teach, some of which you can go and look up and start using, like the 6-phase meditation from Vishen Patel. No, that's the wrong name. Anyway, the 6-phase meditation you can look up on YouTube. Psycho-Cybernetics, great book. My 365 Life Coaching with Pickard. Affirmations of Marissa Peer, I Am Enough. Go and look that up. Vishen Lakiani, that's the name. Brain tap technology, something I use. Breathing techniques. Questions, yes. There are lots of questions you can ask yourself that actually change your thinking. Self-knowing. Food. Yes, food changes the way you think. Supplements can change the way you think. Movement and exercise can change the way you think. Detoxifying your body and your brain will change the way you think. Self-analysis tools, alpha music, something we have playing in the clinic, socializing, and also a new thing called heart math as well. I've been trained with them. So that's just a selection of different thinking tools. But one of the most important things when it comes to blood pressure is probably stopping what's called the stress brain loop. Chronic stress changes the amount of different hormones that you release in your body, which then changes how you perceive things, which then can then make you more stressed. And as you get more stressed, your blood pressure goes up for various reasons we won't go into here. But basically, breaking that stress loop is one of the keys. If stress is one of the major drivers of your blood pressure, then you've got to break the stress brain loop. Okay, and one of the ways to do this, I'm going to teach right now, is called the physiological sigh. Now, the physiological sigh, again, you can go to YouTube and just learn a little bit more, but it's very, very simple. It's something that all mammals do. Yes, all mammals do this naturally. It can happen in our sleep. Often happens when people are crying as well. They tend to take lots of short breath in and then and sighing. And it's actually basically taking a breath in and then one more little sniff and then actually sighing. And this breathing in through your nose and then another short little breath in and then sighing actually has an effect on switching off stress in your brain. And when you read it a few times in a row, it breaks the stress cycle. So try it, look it up, come back to this, make a note to do the physiological sigh. Now, bit of stress, we're talking about communication. Poor communication between people is a major, major cause of stress. But what I'm talking about with the Magnificent Seven at the moment, particularly in regards to blood pressure, is talk right, okay, internal. Now, external talk right is, I think, an extension of thinking right. So what I'm going to be talking about now is internal communication. So your thoughts, your nerves, your hormones, your nerves are things that communicate between your brain and all of your organs in your body, including blood pressure, including your immune system. And you've got hormones, you've got what's called the endocannabinoid system, you've got a light system, and you also have what's called a carbon-based redox system. There are all kinds of internal messaging systems that are important to get right if you want to be as healthy as you can be. And again, I teach this in the Talk Right section of my Magnificent 7 training program. Another one of the people I've learned from, a guy called Zach Bush. He's a very, very, very certified doctor in 3 different areas. And he says a cell with unfettered access to information never becomes diseased. What does that mean? Is that he means basically if your body has everything it needs to provide all the information your cells need to remain healthy, then it's going to remain healthy all of its life, all of its natural life. And proper communication is critical to success, and that in all areas of life. Running a business, running a relationship, running a family, running a social network, and running your health. Unfortunately, many of today's lifestyle choices actually disrupt our internal communication systems. And even a lot of medicine, even something harmless like Calpol, which is well, for everyone in the UK, everyone knows that Calpol is the UK, is the child's version of paracetamol. In America, that's Tylenol. And even harmless Calpol, harmless Tylenol, has actually disastrous effects on our internal communication systems. Even just 1 dose a month of Calpol to children actually can change their health for the rest of their life for the worse. Kidney disease and allergies is one of them. So nitric oxide. Where does this come from? Nitric oxide, this is actually the molecule, is one of the key molecules that actually helps look after your blood pressure. Okay, so it's a communication molecule, and it's very important for circulation and heart health. It's very important for the brain. It's very important for our immune system, and it's very important for sexual function as well. And nitric oxide is the missing link between why, actually I'll get back to it later. I'm going to keep you in suspense. Okay, so nitric oxide optimization is key for helping you with your blood pressure, but you don't want too much nitric oxide, otherwise it can cause inflammation through the body. Now, certain types of nitric oxide help quell inflammation, but other types actually lead to inflammation going out of control in your body and in your arteries, and can lead to high blood pressure, and can also lead to lots of immune system problems, especially, for instance, with coronavirus. Now, while acute inflammation can save your life, it's very important for injury repair and infection control, chronic inflammation can basically cause your body to rust and shut down, and is basically a loss of communication. Whether it's pain, arthritis, whether it's brain inflammation, dementia, whether it's heart disease, whether it's high blood pressure, whether it's liver problems, even obesity. This is why one of the key things that I like to suggest all of my patients try is something called Ganoderma lucidum. Ganoderma lucidum is a Chinese medicinal mushroom, and I recommend an organic. There's one particular brand that I recommend because it is certified organic and it seems to work, and it's the one that the doctor I learned from about it, it's the one he uses with all of his patients with very little problems, very little side effects, and I'm pretty confident to recommend it to almost everybody. Okay, and they found out that Ganoderma lucidum, not only does it help raise the good kind of nitric oxide, it basically abolishes the overproduction and the bad kind, and abolishes nitric oxide induced inflammation, and has lots of other health benefits as well. And in fact, Ganoderma has been shown to be good for the brain in many ways. So it's actually incredibly good for brain communication. It's incredibly good for your nerves, and it's incredibly good for your cardiovascular system as well. Which brings us, with a mushroom, brings us on to eat right. Again, major area. It wasn't just the inventor that was saying that doctors should use medicine. It's Hippocrates, the founder, basically the founder of modern medicine. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. And the food you eat can either be the safest, most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. So are you eating yourself to death or are you eating yourself to life? Because literally the choice is yours. And the key, the number one key, is actually variety. If you have a variety of different plants in your diet every week, and the key is 30, this is from studies on twins, identical twins with identical genetics, they were shown to have very different expressions of their genes and very different health depending on what they ate. And the more variety of plants they ate, the better their gut health was, and the more diverse their microbiome was, which are the bacteria living throughout your body. And because the bacteria in your body actually create a huge amount more genetic variety than our own genes do. And so what you want to do is you want to have at least 30 different types of plant in your diet every week. So that's vegetables, fruits, berries, but also spices and herbs count as well, nuts and seeds. So the number one thing I get my patients to count is the variety of plants they eat on a weekly basis. And you want to be mostly plant-based. I'm not telling you to go vegan, although it's a good idea to try it short term. I'm not an advocate of long-term veganism unless you're doing some other things as well. So speak to me about it if you want to be a really, really, really healthy vegan. Now, here's a problem though. There's a number of studies showing that food itself is too weak to replete depleted cells and bodies. So even though long-term health, eating food variety is key, if you've lost your health, you may need to do something a bit more than just change your diet. You may need the right kind of supplementation, because only supplementation was able to significantly boost nutrient levels in those that were severely sick and ill. And in fact, proper nutrition had a 17-to-1 return on investment and was perhaps the best way to improve the health of everybody on the planet. Yes, big study showed that vitamins and minerals were the things that we should all be working on, make sure everyone's got enough, not vaccines, not drugs, but clean water, good food, and the right supplements. And there is a magnificent 7 eat right, probiotics, vitamin D, omega-3s, a multivitamin mineral, functional foods, superfoods and super plants, and clean paleo foods at the top. So that's not a pyramid, or I suppose you could make it an inverse pyramid, but what you eat is the most important thing. Then superfoods and super plants, functional foods, which are basically nutritional based drinks, which we'll get to in a moment, multivitamin mineral, omega-3s, probably vitamin D and probiotics. Vitamin D I might actually change at some point, which might be controversial to some of you because it's something that lots of people are on the bandwagon of at the moment, including me. But the one thing perhaps you want to actually really look at deeply with high blood pressure is possibly magnesium. Magnesium deficiency is rife, and magnesium deficiency can lead to high blood pressure. It can also lead to lots of muscle tension, aches and pains. It's related to a few different things. It's also related to low immunity as well. So people with low magnesium, for instance, are more likely to have high blood pressure, they're more likely to have aches and pains, and they're also more likely to perhaps get COVID badly as well. And it's safe to take because your body rejects it if you're having too much, and you basically get very loose bowels. So it's hard to actually, you can't really overdose on magnesium because your bowels will get rid of it and you'll just stop having so much. So the number one thing for you to do is basically increase your food variety, and in supplement form, just get a good magnesium supplement, just magnesium by itself, because it seems to be very good for a lot of people with high blood pressure, and it might be all you actually need. And start off with a small dose and slowly increase it to your bowel tolerance. So very simple. Now, as well as eating, you want to drink right, you want to hydrate right. And the reason I say hydrate rather than drink is because hydration isn't just about what you drink. And it's actually what you eat as well. Now, you may have heard of water, you may have heard of steam, you may have heard of ice, which are the 3 recognized states of water, but there's a 4th phase of water, which is not strictly H2O, but something called H3O2, which has been called living water, alkaline water, or easy or exclusion zone water. It's more like a gel. And it's actually how a lot of water exists in plants, and it's why plants can have the structure that they do and they feel firm. For instance, if you take a leaf and you put it in a pan and you heat the leaf up, water evaporates from it and it goes all soggy and loose once the water's gone, because the way that the water exists inside of a lot of plants is as this alkaline exclusion zone, easy water. And this is why eating a piece of fruit and drinking water is actually far more hydrating than just drinking lots and lots of water. It's also why water and raw vegetables are actually better at hydrating your body than just water alone. And this exclusion zone water, actually, this is a picture of a capillary cross section. So a capillary is a small blood vessel, and the easy water is basically meant to make a gel on the inside of your blood vessels that is both protective for your blood vessels, but it also means that the insides of your blood vessels are oiled and lubricated with a gel, so your red blood cells can push and slide along them easily. And in fact, the exclusion zone water is meant to make a positive charge. Your red blood cells are meant to be a negative charge, and this is actually meant to then help push the red blood cells, or pull the red blood cells, I should say, along the actual blood vessels, which reduces blood pressure. And if you're not properly hydrated, you can't make this exclusion zone water properly. So the inside of the capillaries aren't going to be gel-like, and so your blood pressure has to go up in order to push the blood cells along, because they're no longer being pulled along. So very, very important stuff. And nitric oxide is actually also key as to how this exclusion zone water works. So maybe you should get hold of some of the Ganoderma lucidum that I recommend as well to help. Now we come on to move right, and this is hugely, hugely underestimated. I see so many people that eat healthily, they walk lots, but they don't exercise enough, or their job is movement, but they're not exercising in the right way. Or they're exercising lots and they're eating well, but they're actually exercising beyond their body's ability to repair, which actually makes them more sick and more prone to inflammatory diseases and weird and even common viruses. Yes, if you exercise too much, you can be super, super fit, but you can actually be unhealthy. And we'll get to why in a moment. Now, first of all, movement is genetics. Yes, you heard me right. You may think that your problem is genetic, but basically, if you're not exercising, you're kind of right, because if you're not exercising, your genes won't work properly, because we evolved in a way that we were meant to be moving lots. And movement is actually what allows our genetics to express themselves in a healthy way. And if you're not moving, your genes can't work properly. They get faulty and they go wrong. And they found that exercising normalizes gene expression, and it's actually more important that you exercise than if you've got poor genetics. And they found that if you exercise in the right way, it actually overrides poor genes and you're more likely to be healthy. Movement also stimulates the brain, and it's the brain that again looks after our vital organs, and it's very important. Movement is very important for our psychological well-being, but also exercise raises a very important chemical in our bodies known as glutathione. Now, glutathione is a master antioxidant. It's the master. Basically, it stops rusting inside the body, and it's absolutely vital for the immune system as well, and detoxification. And when you over-exercise, so when you exercise enough, you make more glutathione. If you don't exercise enough, you don't have enough glutathione. But if you over-exercise, because when you exercise too much, it breaks down your muscles and your protein, and glutathione is made from amino acids, which are proteins, or rather amino acids make proteins, I should say. And so if you're exercising too much, your glutathione, which is also needed to bring down inflammation, is used up. And so many endurance athletes, so many people who are so-called ultra fit people, they've actually got really depleted glutathione levels, and they can get sick so easily, like the day or two after an extreme event or an extreme workout. And it's because they're not refeeding themselves properly. they aren't actually supplementing in the right way. They're not eating enough nutrient-dense food, and therefore they then become disastrously ill, sometimes very, very easily, despite being so fit. Now, they can even drop down dead of a heart attack because they depleted their glutathione and all kinds of other things so well. So being ultra fit is not the same as being ultra healthy. It's a common misconception. Instead, you want to be able to get to 90 and be able to balance and do this. And one of the things I teach through the course is the steps of implementing an innate, magnificent physical fitness lifestyle. Now, at this point, I want you to remember that if you are deficient in exercise, you are unable to utilize food and nutrients properly. If you are nutritionally deficient, you are unable to utilize exercise properly. And if you are intellectually, emotionally, or spiritually deficient, or you're thinking deficient, you are unable to utilize exercise and nutrition properly. Now, this is not my, this is me, this is James Chestnut, a guy who wrote The Innate Mind and Emotional Hygiene and is a leader in the wellness field. Now, you probably want to slow down and rest, which brings us to sleep. When you're asleep, your brain cleans up cellular garbage and your body repairs itself. And you can be eating and exercising and you can be supplementing, but if you're not sleeping enough, your body isn't going to repair, including your arteries, which can lead to high blood pressure. Sleep improves the function of your nervous system. It prevents or reverses depression. It restores hormone balances, increases concentration, boosts the immune system, significantly reduces cholesterol, improves learning and memory, and maintains emotional harmony. So sleep is free, just takes time, and it's very important. So if you are having sleep problems, then we have a whole module on sleeping because it is your most important anti-inflammatory. Very, very, very important. Okay, and again, one of the things that helps sleep is proper nitric oxide and Ganoderma. Ganoderma helps with energy throughout the day, but it also helps you sleep. Theanine, which is something you find in green tea, can help you sleep. 5-HTP can help, and also magnesium can help you stay asleep as well. So again, magnesium comes back into play with your high blood pressure. Now, finally, detoxification. In the original Magnificent Seven, this is just poop, right? But it does mean everything that your body does to get rid of toxins. So it's sweat, urine, so it's your kidneys, it's your liver, it's your bowels, but it's also how all of your cells, because when you make energy, when you burn energy, there are exhaust fumes, and your body has to be able to get rid of its exhaust fumes. Okay. But here's the problem though. You may think you have a clean life, but did you know that even the Inuit Indians, so this is in northern Canada, okay, there is a link between persistent organic pollutants, so this is pollution in the environment, and high blood pressure. So even in one of the cleanest environments on the planet, they find that there is pollution causing high blood pressure. Now, did your doctor, now I'm guessing that if you're watching this, that you are not living in northern Canada, you're living much closer to London or Birmingham or New York, or you're living closer to civilization, as it were, and you're going to be much more polluted. And has your doctor started a process of detoxification for you? Have they even mentioned persistent organic pollutants? Probably not. Okay, and it's not just the stuff we're eating, it's also air pollution. And yes, even whales in the middle of the Pacific Ocean have been found to have pollutants in their bodies that come from just the air. So it's kind of important. And I've missed it out in this one, but it's even been found that in children, the air pollution in cities is causing high blood pressure in children. It's becoming more and more and more of a problem. Okay, and did I miss this slide out? I might have not. I don't think I'll put the slide in, so I'll mention it here again. That one of the common link that seems between, because air pollution has been shown to cause blood pressure, and it seems to be down to nitric oxide disruption. Air pollution disrupts how nitric oxide is made and used in the body, makes it go out of control. So one of the best things you can do if you live in a city is clean up your air, and do something to help optimize nitric oxide in your body. So if you want to be healthy, you're basically a fish living in you can be a really healthy fish, eating really healthy food and exercising, but if you're living in a dirty bowl, you're going to be sick. Okay, so we need to clean up our environment. You can clean up your internal environment, and there are things you can do to make your external environment better as well, like buy an air filter. Okay, but if you want to clean up your internal environment, you need to make sure you've got a lot of different nutrients to allow different detoxification pathways to work. Now, this is glutathione, so this is really just one detox pathway, of which there's two phases. There's phase 1 and phase 2, but there's lots of different detox pathways in the body, and you really need to make sure they're all working, because there are certain toxins that you get that are only detoxed by one particular type of pathway. So one of the things that I've done with many of my patients is put them through a 7-day body reboot, which is basically an intense 7-day detox, although we'll get to the long one in a moment. And so just so you know, unlimited amounts of organic vegetables, unlimited quantities of specific what are called functional foods, which are basically protein powders mixed with nutrients that allow your body to work properly. Accessory detox things you can do as well. And then week 2 is less intense. Okay, but this is one of my patients, not the cake. He is actually a cake maker, Derek, and his blood pressure, he was kind of concerned about his blood pressure because it was 132/84, and he'd tried all kinds of natural things. He was very fit and healthy in many, many ways. And doctors were thinking, well, maybe we're going to have to put you on blood pressure medication at some point. And so he went on a 7-day detox, and his blood pressure dropped to 115/78 in just 7 days. Now, the thing about true detoxification there is it's not just about doing 7 days. It's about doing things that keep our system working. So I have a 90-day plan taken from what's called the True Cellular Detox Program, something I've been trained in and used. And it looks at doing things in a continual way and shows you ways to actually keep detoxing for life in a way that provides you with lots of fantastic, lovely foods, allows you to eat healthy things as well. It's just on the intense stuff where we're quite strict, but it is possible. Yes, it is very, very possible to enjoy the rest of your life and be healthy. Okay. And here's one young man, Dr. James Grimshaw in Bristol. He lost 19 pounds in 2 months following our plan. He did a lot of anti-aging with the changes in conditions. People couldn't believe he was 43. And before he went through the program, he had eczema, reflux, and used to puff on an inhaler. And he lost all the weight, and he lost his allergies and got healthy. Now, as a summary, when you implement the Magnificent 7 process properly, you can expect to reduce body fat, tone up, get leaner, have more energy, feel better about yourself, develop a bulletproof mindset, have freedom with your nutrition, break free from calorie counting and worrying what to eat and what not to eat, become fitter and stronger, reduce the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and many other preventable illnesses. Because I myself, I don't worry what I want, what I eat. If I go out, I eat what I want to, because most of the time I choose the healthy option. And then when I want something, I will have it guilt-free, because I'm not always eating rubbish. So at the beginning, I mentioned adding 20 years of health to your life. Now, you may have heard of the lifespan, which is the average lifespan of someone in the UK is about 82. But what's your health span? The average health span is basically how long you will be alive before you're on drugs for the rest of your life because you've got a chronic health problem. And it may surprise you to know that even though our lifespan has increased over the past 40 years, our health span is about the same as it was 40, 50, 60 years ago. And it's actually worse than it was about 120 years ago, providing you got to the age of 4. And what am I talking about? So the average health span now is about 60 years old. By the time you're 60, it's reckoned that you're going to be on medication for the rest of your life because you've got a chronic health disease, health problem. But when you go back to Victorian times, okay, if you got past the age of 4, your health expectancy was about 70 and your life expectancy was 72. So it was only the last 2 years of your life that you actually got ill, whereas most of us get ill for 22 years. And so here is a nice chart. You start off when you're 10 or 20 years old with optimal health and vitality, everything's working well, and then you get a bit older and you get normal health problems and a bit less energy and a bit of digestive problem, but nothing really wrong. And then you start getting functionally impaired, fatigue, digestive disorders really start causing a bit of a problem, maybe thyroid problems, start mood disorders, reproductive problems, and the gap between your health and optimal health it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you get into disease states, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and then eventually disability and death. And so it is possible that you're going to, live to 80 years old, but would you rather live to 80 years old with an amazing, amazing health? And it is possible to climb the ladder from your lifespan to a much higher health and to have a much longer health span as well as a longer lifespan as well. But bear in mind, it takes 30 years to produce trillions of sick cells, and it takes years to replace them all with cells that replicate healthy cells. What do I mean? I mean, an unhealthy cell might only be able to make a slightly less unhealthy cell if it's given everything it needs. And so it may take a number of years, a number of replications before your body is as healthy as it can be. So it's not about eating one healthy meal. It's not about doing one detox. It's not about following a program for 3 months. It's about following a program for 3 months, learning what it takes to change and becoming a new human being over the period of a few years. It's regrowing yourself in body and brain. So the specific blood pressure magnificent self 7 health strategies are: talk right, we're talking about nitric oxide. Hydrate, we're talking about exclusion zone water. Eat right, we're talking about the paleo dash diet. Exercise, it's the Goldilocks exercise regime. It's enough exercise, but not too much exercise. The blood pressure blitz detox program, the circadian rhythms of sleep and wake, and hormesis for improving the resilience of your body. Now, chances are that where you are now, if you do nothing about your health, it will probably get worse. Okay, you're going to carry on going down this line here. Okay, now, and even if you do the traditional way, it's probably likely that you're not going to be the same health in 3 years. Your health will be worse in 3 years, most likely. You'd have collected more unhealthy cells. Whereas a customized program can actually not just maintain your level of health, but can actually take you to new levels of health with less disease, less dysfunction, less disability. And one of the most important things to do is to do things like boost your nitric oxide, or what's the word I'm looking for? Control your nitric oxide problem, because nitric oxide starts reducing rapidly from the age of 20, and it's very, very, very important for your blood pressure. And if you don't take action, so you could turn from a clean pipe to a rusty pipe. And so this rusty pipe is, for instance, where you get arteriosclerosis. Your heart is unable to get all the blood it needs, all the oxygen it needs, and you might need stents. This could lead to bypass surgery. This could lead to heart attacks. It could lead to clogs. It could lead to strokes. So it's very, very important that you clean your arteries properly. So how do you actually work out what you need? Well, this is why I devised, at long last, with some inspiration, the Magnificent 7 Lifestyle Screening Assessment. So the Magnificent 7 is based on the work of Dr. Bob Rakowski, but the Lifestyle Screening Assessment is based on the work of another of my mentors, called Dr. Brian Walsh, who, did I put a slide up about it? No, I didn't. Who put together something called the Cell Blueprint Questionnaire. Now, the Cell Blueprint Questionnaire is something that I use when clients want to come on board with me. It's got 28 sections to it, whereas the Magnificent 7 Lifestyle Screening Assessment, which uses some of the questions from the Cell Blueprint, just has 7 sections. And it looks like this. It's got a portion for think right, move right, inner communication, talk right, eat right, hydrate right, sleep right, detox right, and then there's a scoring system as well, and there's a link to some videos as well to help you. So if you would like a copy of that questionnaire, then reach out and ask. And I'll send you a link and you can take it, and it can be your first step. And certainly before I talk to someone, to people, even if it's just a free call, I like them to fill this in so I've got a rough idea about what's going on with them before we do anything. Now, so say you've gone through this and you're thinking, look, I really, really want your help. I think you may understand what's going on. I want you to help build me a program. So what I do is, yes, we can have a free talk first of all. But if you want a beat blood pressure consultation, then what we're going to do is we're going to look at all the causes. There are all kinds of different toxins, biotoxins, mycotoxins, molds, environmental toxins. There are micronutrient deficiencies, nervous system interferences, gastrointestinal tract abnormalities. There's all kinds of things that we need to look at and take into account. So there's tests that can be done as well. And the first step is discovering what's going on. What are your performance analytics? Then we want to put you into a recovery program, which addresses the causes. Then after that, we want you to thrive. So we want to create long-term sustainable results. That instead of focus on the root causes of disease, we want to focus on the root causes of health. So you can actually start focusing on building more and more health. And this is a program, it takes time. So if you're someone coachable, if you're ready to take the time, if you want to learn and do what it takes, then reach out because we have a program for you. And now you can, if you want to, go to just m.chrispickard.com/beat-blood-pressure, and you can sign up if you want to and read more about full blood pressure consultation, or you can just reach out and do it directly with myself. Usually I charge £397, but if you watch this and you go through this link where you reach me directly, then it will be £197 at the moment. Okay. The first step, though, if you are a little bit, I don't know if I want to do that yet, is to book a blood pressure breakthrough call with me, which is completely free, and I can put some links below, so you can just click on some links and book a session, or you can reach out by calling me or the clinic. And step 2 is to download the Magnificent 7 Lifestyle Questionnaire and get started on analysing what is going on. Now, is there any more? Yes, it's a scientific fact that chronic, toxic and deficient lifestyle choices result in the genetic expression of adaptive stress physiology and illness. Or, to be a little bit more poetic, like Andy, our beliefs become our thoughts become our words become our habits become our values, and our values become our destiny. So if you would like to change what's happening to your system, then it's not this way, is it? Then reach out, book a blood pressure breakthrough call, or if you know you're ready, then let's just get the full thing booked and let's book a 21st century beat blood pressure consultation. So thank you very, very much for watching. And if you have any questions, then reach out. You can call me on 01707 662 704. Now my clinic, which is Body and Balance, and ask to speak to me about blood pressure. Okay, bye for now. And stop.